What's going on, guys? GenSpeed here, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make your own crosshairs for SOCOM Source Insurgency. Starting off, you're going to need three different programs. The first one's going to be photo editor of some sort. I used Photoshop, but you can definitely use GIMP for this. It is a free program you can download to your computer via the internet. The second program you're going to need is VTF Edit. This is also a free program you can download via the internet. It will look something just like this right here once you get it downloaded. It is that is the shortcut for it right there. The last thing is going to be a text editor, and I use Notepad++. This is what I've used in the past, and this is definitely the easiest thing to use, so I would definitely suggest downloading it. Okay, so once you get your three programs downloaded, you're going to want to head over to SOCOMSource.com. Once you reach SOCOMSource.com, click on the Setup tab and go over to Development. Once you reach Development, you'll see a sample download. This is the template that you'll be using. You want to download this to your computer. Once you get it downloaded to your computer, you're going to go to your File Explorer Downloads, and you'll see it shows up right there, crosshair.zip. Now you're going to want to extract this to your computer. Now I'm going to choose to put this on my desktop in a new folder that I'm going to create. And I'm just going to call it crosshair.zip. Select the folder and extract the files. Okay, now we'll be doing this again here in a second. For right now, we're going to just stop with this one folder. Okay, as you can see, I now have a folder on my desktop called Crosshair Zip. When I open it up, you'll see that I have a materials folder. This is going to be the folder that you will be dropping directly into your Insurgency files. So right now, we're going to go ahead and go find those Insurgency files. If you haven't looked for these before, you can find them underneath your operating system, Program Files 86. We're going to scroll down to Steam. We're going to go to Steam Apps. We're going to go to Common, Insurgency 2, Insurgency. And as you can see, I already have a materials folder. Now, you won't have one of these if you haven't made your own crosshairs yet. This is where you're going to be dropping this materials folder that you just created on your desktop. So go ahead and drag it down and drop it out here so that it'll end up in your Insurgency files. I'm not going to do it since I already have one. Once you've got that done, you can go ahead and delete your folder that you just put on your desktop. You are completely done with it. And now you're going to be going and extracting another one of those crosshair zip files straight to your desktop. We're going to put it in a new folder, and we're going to name this folder Crosshair. Extract the files. Now I have my Crosshair folder on my desktop. This one I'm actually going to access right now and go in and start changing some of the names. So once we access it and go in, you'll see that it has a custom folder. Now we're going to go ahead and change this to whatever we want our crosshairs to be called. So in this case, I'm going to call mine speed dot 4 since I've already created 3 other speed dots. Okay, now that we've created this speed dot 4, we're going to go ahead and enter this file, and as you can see, you have 16 different files along with 5 different folders. On these files, you'll see that you have 8 different VTF files. These are empty files, and we're going to go ahead and delete them now. I'm just going to control-click every single VTF file and then do a mass delete. This finishes up everything for this folder for now, and we'll actually be moving on to our photo editor to create our new crosshairs. Okay, so since I am more than likely one of the only ones who's using Photoshop to do this, I'm just going to give you a quick tutorial on how to do this. I'm not going to actually make any crosshairs. You can find that on your own by just doing some quick Google searches on how to work with your photo editor, and then you go from there. Starting off, you're going to need to make sure though that you do open your new project in a 1920 by 1080, and you need to make sure it's transparent background. That is actually really important, because if you don't choose a transparent background, then your crosshairs will just be on a piece of white paper, which will cover up your whole screen once you upload them to Insurgency. So make sure that you have that transparent background, and from there you basically go on and make your new project. Put your crosshairs dead center of the screen. You want to make sure they're in the center, because if you don't put them in the center, then they're going to be wherever you put them, so they won't be accurate. Another important thing to do is to make sure that you save all your files as a PNG. And since I've already made a couple of these, I'm going to go ahead and open up what I've already made. And as you can see here, I have, not counting this PSD file, I have 8 different PNG pictures here that I've created. I'll go ahead and open them up. Now, you won't be able to see the gray one since it's put on a black background, but there is a crosshair there. I used a black simple dot in the center of the screen, and then I made a black simple dot with an obstructive view, which is the red X. And here's my blue dot: blue obstructed, red obstructed, green obstructed. Now you can do whatever colors you want. You can do them however you want, but you do need to have 8 different crosshairs. You basically have to have one for when your mag is empty, when you're just aiming and running around, you're not aiming at anything, and then you have to have one for friendly fire, and then one for enemy fire. So the red one is what I used for enemy, the green one is what I used for just regular aiming, the blue one is when I point at a friendly, and then a black crosshair. And I even added some text to mine. I added some reload text to my black mag is empty. But yeah, you need to make sure that you have 8 different crosshairs. One of the catches is that you actually have to call these by the actual names that you're seeing here. So even if your crosshair is not gray, you have to call it gray. So the gray would represent your mag is empty. So on this one, I actually have a black crosshair. Green was originally when you're pointing at a friendly. I'm using blue, so you have to call it green. And the obstructive view is just that red X that you get when you don't actually have a shot or you're aiming over an object. So make sure that you have obstructed there. You have to have 4 different obstructed and 4 regular crosshairs. And so you'll create all those in your photo editor. And once you get done with that, you will be moving on to the next step. Okay, so in this next step, you're going to be using your VTF edit tool that you downloaded earlier. What you're going to do is open up your crosshair folder that you put on your desktop earlier. Go all the way into the speed dot, or whatever you named yours, your custom name. And you're going to want to drop and drag all these PNG files that you made on your photo editor earlier. You're going to want those right there in that folder. So now that you have your speed dot or custom name, and you'll have your VMT files, and then right underneath it you'll have your PNG files. Now that you've got this done, you can open up your VTF edit and set this tool up. Okay, so once you set this tool up the first time, it pretty much just defaults to whatever you set it up to, but there is an initial process that you have to go to get everything to work right. You're going to want to go to Tools, Convert Folder, and when you get to here, you'll see that you have an input folder and output folder. These are the folders that you're going to be pulling your files out of and putting your files back into. So I'm just going to use my crosshair folder that I put on my desktop. I'm going to use that to, of course, I'm going to be pulling the files out of there, but I'm also going to be putting them back into there. So I will go down to crosshair folder, and I'll click on speed.4, because that's where my PNG files are now located. Output folder, I'm going to put them back into the same thing. You're going to want to make sure that recursive is checked, and then we're going to go to our options key. Now, talking with Redline the other day, he told me that this alpha format is actually better in BGRA 8888 because it doesn't compress your folder. I originally think I did DXT5, which is what it's defaulted at, so I actually switched it over, and I think this is supposed to make your crosshair image look better, and I know I was having some problems with kind of a washed out color when I was using DXT5, and I'm not sure, but I think this is actually going to fix the color on it. So he also said to make sure your resize filter was set to whatever this word is. I'm not going to try to pronounce that, so find that. It's right here in the middle. Click on it. Then you're going to want to make sure that your generate min maps is unchecked, and then you're going to switch over to advanced. You're going to want to make sure that compute reflectivity is unchecked and generate thumbnail is unchecked, and then you can click OK. Now you're just going to convert your files. Okay, so now that you have your files created, you're going to go to your materials, crosshair SOCOM speed dot, or your custom name, and check, and now you should have VTF files in your custom name folder. So these are the files you deleted earlier. They're actually back there, and they're going to be represented from your PNGs that you actually just converted from your VTF edit program. So now you can take your PNG files and move them back. You know, I suggest keeping them because you don't want to delete them, because if you have a problem or a mishap, you can go back and always convert these again in the VTF edit if you want to use them as a baseline on your photo editor for the next set of crosshairs you make, if you do plan on making more or these don't work. So yeah, definitely keep these. Okay, so now that you have your PNG files moved, it is time to actually take these new crosshairs that you created and copy and paste them and put them into your folders that you have up here. That way that they will be represented on like your grenade or your pistol, RPG, shotgun. That way you'll actually have crosshairs, because if you don't do this part of the process, then you'll actually just have a black screen when you switch to your pistol or your grenades. Note, you can make custom crosshairs for your grenades, or I'm not sure if you can do it for your pistols, but I know you can do it for your grenades. If you want something different than your regular crosshairs that you use on your gun, you can actually go do that. You'll just have to go through the whole process of making some on a photo editor and then using the VTF edit again and then placing those in there. But I prefer to just have my regular crosshairs. So at this point, you're just going to copy and paste all these files into each one of those folders. Once you've done this to every file, you're ready to click these over into your insurgency files and go through your text editor to get ready to actually use them. Okay, so now I have all of the VMT and VTF files copy and pasted into these folders. Now, I will note that you can actually leave the C4 folder empty because you don't actually have to have crosshairs for C4. In fact, I think someone ran into a problem by putting crosshairs into it. So I suggest leaving this empty. You won't have a problem in the game playing it like this. So I just deleted the files that were here. I think there was a white crosshair file that was in there. I just deleted them and left it empty. So once you get back to here, now you've got all of your files here into your grenade, pistol, RPG, and shotgun folders. Now you can actually go in and drop these into insurgency files. So let's open that up real quick and get those in there. You access these the same way you did earlier, just by going to your operating system and your Steam and Steam apps. And I'm just going to go ahead and do a quick shortcut there. And once you get there, you just drag your new crosshair straight down here and drop it into this. Now notice I've already got other custom crosshairs. All your files should have is custom in here. It shouldn't have any of these other ones. So you'll just have custom, and then you'll have your new crosshair name. Okay, so now we're going to want to go into Notepad++. Once we get here, we're going to click the Search, Find in Files, and bring up this little Find in Files tab here. We're going to do find what SOCOM _ crosshair / custom / replace with SOCOM _ crosshair / the name of your custom crosshair and then /. We're going to do VMT in the filters. And then the directory, what we're going to do is we're going to click on this little tab over here, and then we're going to do just like we did earlier. We're going to go into our OS files, come all the way to Steam, open up Steam apps, all the way to Insurgency, and then we're going to come down here to SOCOM Crosshair, and then we're going to choose our crosshair that we did earlier. So speed.4 is the name of mine. I chose speed.4, and that should give you your directory. You're going to want to make sure that in all subfolders is clicked, and then you're going to click Replace in Files. Now I've already done this, so it's going to not show on mine, but down here you should have Replace in Files 0 occurrences. It should give you a number, like anywhere. I usually have 41, I think is what mine usually says. You know, as long as yours says something like 16 or above, you should be able to go try out your crosshairs and make sure they're working. I have had a less number for some reason. I don't know what caused it at that time. It was early on, so Make sure that you get that right, and then you can load in. Now, I'm going to go back and show you a mistake that I found before I went into the game, and show you the importance of it. So let's go back into the File Explorer in SOCOM Crosshairs. Now, the importance of naming these files right, I was telling you earlier, I named these like my green one. I named it Blue VTF, thinking because my dot was blue that would work, but it didn't. So I ended up having to go back to green. But if you don't name these right, it's actually a big problem. So as you can see, on green obstructed and yellow obstructed, I accidentally I named this wrong. I left out an R for whatever reason. I don't know why I did that. I do know how to spell. So we'll go back. Oh, actually, you know what? I'm going to leave the yellow one like that and show you what happens, because this is you know, if you get lost once you put in your new crosshairs and you get on there and you figure out that something's wrong. If this is your problem, more than likely you have a text problem, like you've spelt something wrong or done something wrong on this. So I'll show you what it does when you have a misspelt or wrong name here on this file. So we're just going to do the green one for right now. And check my pistols. They're all right. Grenade. Alright, so I did all those right except for the yellow. So now we're just going to load into the game, and I will show you what having custom crosshairs looks like and how to get them onto the screen. As you can see, these are the regular crosshairs that you usually start with. How you're going to get to your custom crosshairs is you're going to open up your chat box and you're going to type in !crosshair and then the name of your custom crosshair. So mine is speed dot. And as you can see, I get my green dot in the middle of the screen. You can see when I switch between guns. When I was talking about renaming them wrong earlier, as you can see, my crosshairs work, but if I get to a point where it's obstructed and I aim and I don't have a view, I get this pink black checker box that's all crazy like. That's what we were trying to figure out the first time when we were having problems. We would go up to hostages and point at the hostages, and it's because we had our hostages, our friendly ones, named wrong. So you got to make sure you name those right, and then you won't have that problem. So yeah, this is how you make your own custom crosshairs. I hope this video helped you. If there's something else I missed to explain and I need to make another video, leave it in the comments section. If you have any questions, ask me. I'll try my best to help. And I hope this video helped you, and be sure to hit like, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I appreciate it.